Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Things might look a little different. I got a new phone since the last time I saw you guys. Started the semester and my skin got a lot worse. It is what it is. But that's not what we're talking about. I know it's been a little while and that's mainly because I started school and had a bunch of stuff to do. Like, for example, to get my new phone, we had to drive to Wisconsin. We drove 2 hours north and we got our new phones in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, and then drove back. That was a very daunting day. I've had my first round of midterms, started the semester, already did my first meeting for my scholarship. It's been pretty fun. I have a kickoff meeting tonight in about an hour, so I have to make this quick. I'm the director of finance for that new club, which is very exciting. Lots of different changes. But that's not what we're talking about today. This is going to be a little intro / first episode of a series that I've been wanting to do for months now. And it's a series where we talk about stuff. So you're probably wondering, what is this? Why are we doing this? Why are we talking about this stuff? First off, I love talking about random stuff. Since I was like a really small kid, I would just spew facts at my siblings and my parents. Witty comments, usually the whole 9 yards when I was a child. I still kind of do it. Now it's more arguments, but it's still fun to do. So I've always had a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'm gonna open up my iPad really quick just because this has been in the making for literally months. I got a Notion over winter break, so about a month and a half, 2 months ago now. And I just have it planned on there along with other YouTube ideas. So basically, I'm gonna do the intro of the series and then I'm gonna do part 1 of the first topic. So ideally with this series, it would be a podcast-like setup. So I have my microphone, I talk to y'all. If I have a co-host, I talk with them, and it's kind of a conversation. And I kind of want it to be open with the audience. So I'll be posing questions, and although this episode is probably just going to be me, I'll be posing questions for you guys to answer, to think about. And it's always an open discussion. If you want to DM me on Instagram or on YouTube, we can continue this discussion. But not every topic has 2 parts. I just wanted to do 2 parts of this one just because there's different aspects to what I'm talking about. So the key to this is each episode has a specific title. So although the title is very specific and it sounds very sophisticated, it's not really that sophisticated. So today we're going to be talking on the topic of aspects of individuality in language. So each episode is named on the topic of whatever we're talking about. Right now I have around 10 or 11 topics I want to talk about. The list can grow and change. There's tons of things to talk about, especially with the internet and how the world is. There's literally millions of things. But the one thing that I wanted to make sure that I have in these episodes is a stated opinion. So you hear my opinion. I don't want to be just spewing facts at you. So like my opinion on the topic, why I'm talking about it, why I chose to talk about it, / my co-host friends' opinions, why they chose to join me in talking about it. So that's the intro. So you're probably wondering, why are we talking about aspects of individuality in language? So a couple weeks ago, more like about 2 months ago, it was late December, I was talking with my sister. My older sister and her friends were at our house, and I was like, if you really think about it, nobody speaks the same version of English. I understand that there's vernaculars and there's dialects of English, and there's kind of accents of English, so like how you pronounce things, certain words that you sub for other things. I understand that, like there's regional accents and dialects, like the Midwestern accent. I would say I don't exactly have it, but there's things that I would say that if you're from California, you won't say. Like to me, what like the choice of drink you get in the restaurant, water or pop. People don't call it pop, or gym shoes, stuff like that. That's a dialect or accent, or the way people in Boston say certain words. That's a dialect or accent. But I believe that everybody has their own individual dialect and accent, because although there's these regional accents and there's these vernaculars like AAVE or African American Vernacular English, not everybody speaks that way. And one thing that those dialects and accents don't take into account is code switching. So I talked about code switching in a linguistics class. It was for Spanish, and it just talked about like formal and informal language, and that's a thing in itself. I personally believe nobody switches to the same code. Nobody has the same beginning code and like the endpoint, and the starting and endpoint are never the same. Although like some people can switch between AAVE and normal standard English. Not everybody has that ability. Some people can try it. It's just, you can tell who can do it and who can't do it. And that's a major thing. Also, one thing to take into consideration is what you grew up hearing. So some people, they're like, oh, my parents weren't born in America. They have an accent, and there's some words that like I understand that they say, but that others won't. And that's another form of code switching. I don't talk to my parents the way that I talk to my friends. And I'm pretty sure everybody's the same way. Some people have their own language that they speak with their parents, but even in English, kind of, I feel like the way I was raised, there was kind of like a form of respect and boundaries set with the way I speak to my parents, and that's a code switch in its own. So what I'm basically saying here is there's several aspects that go into a language, and I believe that yes, we all speak English. English is the umbrella term for our individual dialect. That's kind of my opinion. So everybody speaks their own form of English, their own language of English. There's different words that you use that I use that somebody might not use in a certain way. Like, for example, I was texting my best friend Emily the other day, and I was talking about somebody, and I was like, he is not live at all. And she kind of asked, what do you mean by live? And I was like, with words like that, you kind of have to hear for how I pronounce it. So I had to audio message it, and I was like, not live as in he's alive, or live, he's living. It's kind of like my own twist on the word live. To me, when something is live or is not live, it's bumping, it's lit. It's kind of like that. That's the same thing to me. So instead of saying oh, it's lit or he's not lit, that sounds kind of weird. I say he's not live. And it makes sense when you hear it more than you say it. No, when you hear it, when you say it out loud more than you text it. That's what I mean. So that's one example of me not speaking the same version of English as Emily. Me and Emily both speak English. We both have our own versions of little quips and innuendos that we know, in between each other, we mutually recognize those. But there's some things that I don't say to Emily that I say to my sisters or other friends. It's kind of like that. I was supposed to film this on a tiny mic. I got a tiny mic from Amazon, but this is like it doesn't matter. I'll film part 2 on the tiny mic. But I hope you guys can understand what I'm saying by not everybody speaks the same version of English. Me and my brother talk in 2 very different ways, but we mutually understand each other because it's both in English. So my brother has his own dialect language, and I have my own dialect language. And I would say he's not as good at code switching as I am in certain environments, just because of exposure to those environments, etc., etc. So you're probably wondering, how does this relate to other languages? That's what part 2 is on. I have several friends who are bilingual or polyglots, so they speak multiple languages, and I wanted to pose the same question to them. Like, do you believe that, let's say, Spanish is just an umbrella for the dialects? Do you believe there's individuality in Spanish? That's basically the question I'm gonna ask them. Because I believe that there's individuality in English. And to me, it's visible and it's audible in my house. Both my parents are from Nigeria. They have a Nigerian accent. And they are bilingual, although in our house we speak mostly English. Their English is very different from each other, and is very different from their 5 children. And if you look at us 5 individually, we all speak very differently. We all have our own individual dialect of English. So again, as I reiterated before, I believe English, or these languages, are languages, like written languages, like English, Mandarin, Spanish, Arabic, Japanese. You get what I'm saying? Those are umbrellas. Those are kind of community. That's the community language, but the individual language is so much different from the written rules of those community languages. So, yeah, that's my opinion. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm probably not gonna edit this too much. Probably just gonna put I'm not gonna take too many cuts out of it. I'm probably not gonna cut this out, but let me know how you guys feel. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope you guys are excited for more videos like this, because I have a lot more talking topics, and I have a lot of friends and a lot of people interested in coming on the show and talking about these topics. I don't know what's gonna be the next one, but I hope it's gonna be interesting to you guys to hear the opinions of others, kind of like an open conversation. So yeah, this is kind of different, I understand, but I really like talking about this stuff because it's kind of weird to think about, because I feel like a lot of people don't think about this stuff. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video, which will probably be a sewing video. I have a lot of stuff planned for sewing, or draw with me, or another stuff. I've gotten into a lot of things over winter break, and I want to show you guys. I can't really do tutorials. I mean, I can for like drawing, but for coding, I'm still an amateur. So I'll show you guys my setup and how I started it, and kind of walk you guys through that. Again, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys later. Bye.